Used Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform this week in the Google Next. And today I was exploring this platform, uh, actually a specific feature of the platform, which is Agent Registry. So in this recording, I'll share my exploration. But before that, I wanted to show what Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform is. Right. So the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform is Google's new comprehensive platform to build, scale, govern, and optimize agents. And the platform is also um, designed or categorized against these four top categories, right? So there is no Vertex AI right now. Everything is Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. If you go to Agent Platform, we'll see now we have models, right? So these were earlier, some of them are part of Vertex AI. These are all under model. Then under agents, as I mentioned, that divided into four key categories: build, scale, govern, and optimize. And agent registry is something that I explored today, and that is what I will share. I'll share my exploration. Right. Going back here, so if I look at the platform, so under build, like these are the features. I will probably in subsequent weeks, and maybe it will take me months to go through each of them. But under build, we have this many features. Under scale, we have runtime, sessions, sandbox, agent memory bank. Govern, we have gateway, identity, registry. This is what we'll see. Anomaly detection, model armor, policy, agent security, agent compliance. And under optimization, agent evaluation. I think this was earlier called Vertex AI Evaluation Services. Now it has been renamed to agent evaluation. Agent simulation is interesting. I think this probably is to, so when you're developing agents, this probably is to debug and test the agents. Need to take a look at it. Agent observability. Most likely this is Cloud Trace, probably something else. Cloud Trace plus something else, right? And agent optimizer. Memory bank was already there. I think now this has been categorized under skill. The agent sandbox is interesting. If it is an LLM sandbox where we can execute a code in a secure sandbox, it will be really cool feature, but I need to take a look at it, right? Now, agent registry. What is agent registry? So agent registry is a centralized, unified catalog that lets you store, discover, and govern model context protocol servers, tools, and AI agents within Google Cloud. Agent registry corresponds to the governance pillar and inventory of your agents, servers, and endpoints, right? So these are why you use agent registry. I think this is pretty self-explanatory that we need discoverability, right? Earlier when we had microservices, we had service registry, right? Similar similar feature is now required as we build multi-agent systems, right? And the agent registry categorizes services into three main types, right? These are the three main types that we can register. We can register an agent which are autonomous actors that possess specific skills. Skills represent an agent's high-level capabilities and are a primary mechanism for discovery. MCP servers, providers of standardized data resources and tools. Tools are deterministic functions exposed by an MCP server that agents can invoke to perform specific actions. Endpoints A target URLs, typically REST APIs accessed by an agent. By abstracting these destinations into manageable resources, Agent Registry lets you centrally govern which external services your agents can access. This probably will be more applicable if I have a traditional machine learning model. I will expose it as an inference endpoint, and probably the APIs, which probably cannot be MCP-fied, right? Um, as I said, like over a period of time, I will explore each of them. But today, within Agent Registry, also I explored the MCP server part. Let's see what I have explored, right? So this is, so if I go to, we'll go to the agent registry. So agent registry is here, right? If I go to agent registry, you'll see the three services that we spoke about: agents, MCP servers, endpoints, right? Now MCP servers, if I click on MCP servers, there are some automatically registered MCP servers which are automatically registered. These are all built-in MCP servers which are built on top of some of the very well-known Google services. For example, this is on LOIDB, then BigQuery, right? CloudTrace, right? All of them are MCP-fied. Now, if I want, I can also bring my own MCP server here, right? If it's a, if I build a MCP server, if there is a public MCP server, I can bring it here, right? So how can we bring another third party or my own MCP server? Let's take a look at it. I already created one, but we'll create it again, right? So let's say this is the Google Drive. So Google Drive also has an MCP server, which is this drive mcp.googleapis.com, right? So what we'll do is we'll create another, we'll add an MCP server, right? We'll name it G drive MCP server for me, right? And I'll say this exposes all the tools to interact with Google Drive. Region, I will say global, right? Now when I click on this, right, if it's a public MCP server, which it is, right, I can import the tools within it, right? So see, automatically the tools exposed by it are extracted from this MCP server, right? So here we can see a create file tool. Similarly, we'll have let's see what other tools we'll have. Download file content tool, right? There are some tools like that, right? If the endpoint is private or product protected, then I cannot import tools like this. But this JSON file, we can create a JSON file with all the tools that are available in that private or protected MCP server, and we can paste it here, right? And then when we click on next, if I click on next, then I can select I can select the tools that I want to expose through the MCP server, right? So these are all the tools that are exposed by the Google Drive, right? And then when I click on save, it gets saved in the agent registry under MCP server, right? So it's taking some time to save. Yeah, it probably is saved now. If I go here, let's see if I can see my newly created MCP server. Actually, it did not create it. I do not see it. It is probably because I already have it. So let me delete this. It probably is because I already had a MCP server with this name, right? And it cannot log in another MCP server. So this may be a problem, right? Because I can create one MCP server with 3 tools, and the same server I can create with 2 other tools. I don't know how that will be captured by here. Okay, so for now let me delete this and see if I can recreate it, right? So let me delete this. I will recreate and see if it allows me to register it, right? So I'll say add MCP server, G drive MCP server. This MCP server exposes tools to interact with G drive. Global, give the URL, import tools. Next, I'll put all the tools, save, and let's see what happens now. Yeah, now it allowed me to register it. So I don't know whether it is a bug. So basically, if I have already registered an MCP server with the tools, with some tools, I cannot re-register. Now the question would be, how do I handle a situation where I may have I might want to register a server with the same server with 2 tools for one team, 3 tools for another team. Maybe there is a way, but right now I think if a MCP server is already registered certain tools, we can do it only once, right? Now this server, this MCP server has got a name, right? The other thing that I saw is that other than this code snippet, right, there is no other place where I can go and find out what the MCP server name is, right? So this is the MCP server name that um, has been created, right? Now if you see this and this MCP server ID doesn't match, right? But when we use it um, in the code, in an ADK code, we need to use it, right? So the ADK also created an agent registry module through which I can interact with this um, agent registry, and for interacting or to get the information about these services, there are actually 6 operations that are exposed by the agent registry that I have seen, right? Let's look at those 6 operations, right? So let me open my PyCharm. So here, what I did is I created a instance of the agent registry with my project ID and the location, and the 6 operations that I saw that agent registry is exposing. One is the list MCP servers, right? So when I create an instance of registry and then I do a list MCP servers, it lists all the MCP servers that are there in the agent registry, that are registered in the agent registry, right? I can also filter with a MCP server name. Now there is still a big gap in this registry. What I did not see is a way where I can semantically retrieve the relevant tools from the registry based on a prompt. That part I have not seen it, right? And that is a very important part. Right now, I can list MCP servers, I can filter by MCP server name, and then I can get an MCP server by name as well, like if I give the name, full name, right? And next is, so this MCP server, if you see this MCP server is this location MCP server. Now I need to change this because I created a new MCP server. So if I go back here, This is our new MCP server name. Let me copy this, and actually I'll just copy this because this will come from my placeholders. So I will just copy the MCP server name. I will put it here, right? So this is my MCP server. I can list all the MCP servers. I can get MCP servers by giving the name. Then it will return me the display name, the description, all the interfaces, or the tools that the interfaces and the tools that are declared in the MCP server. I can get the MCP toolset by giving the MCP server name, right? And once I get the toolset, I can list the tools also, the tool descriptions also, right? So I can do a registry.getMCP toolset. It will return me a toolset, and then I can do a toolset to get tools, which what it is actually doing is once I from the registry, that get MCP toolset is giving me the endpoint of where the MCP server is, right? Then the tools.get tools is doing a list tools against that MCP server and giving me all the tools, right? Then I can do the list agents. This is the fourth operation, right? Then I can filter also with list agents with a display name. I can get the remote A2 agent with a if there is an A2 agent with a name, and then finally the list endpoints. So right now I don't have any endpoints. So the list endpoints, as I mentioned, was this was the endpoints, right? So endpoints. So this list endpoints gives all the endpoints to me, right? So this is a small program I wrote where I instantiated the agent registry of from ADK package, right? And then demonstrated how we can use it to list the MCP servers, the list the agents, and the tool size. So let me run this. So if I run it, let's see what happens. Let me bring it up. Okay. For some reason, okay. Let me, yeah. So if you see what has happened is, okay, list MCP server, right? When I did the list MCP server, name of each MCP server, and this is the display name. This is what I have created, right? And this is the name. Now it doesn't match with, if I go to the MCP server, and if I go to my G drive MCP server, it doesn't match with the MCP server ID. So this is different. MCP server name is what we need to use, right? And then it also gives me the tools, the name of the tools that are exposed, right? So that is this first operation, list MCP server, right? Now let's go to the next one. So the list MCP server, right? Section 1B. Okay, 1B is list MCP server filter string filter by display name. Okay, so display name because I changed the name now, right? So name is, let me run with the name, right? This is the name, this drive MCP server, right? So if I change the display name to this, we'll run it again. Let me see if the other places also it is same. No, I think I have it only in one place. Okay. Let me search once my MCP. Okay, it was only one place, right? So let me rerun this. So the first one would be same, right? Which we already spoke about it. 1B is where I did a, so this was 1B, right? Where I filtered it by my MCP server name. So it gave me the MCP server name. then the get MCP server name is a second one, right? Here I gave the display, so whatever name I got, right? So here so MCP server, which I gave as this was the MCP server name that I gave, right? And it is giving me, when I do a get MCP server, display name, description, interface is where it is running, right? The endpoint URL, the binding is HTTP JSON, and the tools declared, these are the tools declared, right? Now here I got the server, right? Now I am getting the MCP toolset, right? So when I do a registry.get MCP toolset, so this is type is agent registry single MCP toolset, prefix is this drive MCP server, that is the name. This is the endpoint, this is the resource ID, right? And then with this, right, when I say registry.get MCP toolset, it returns me the toolset. With the toolset, when I do a toolset.get tools, this is where it actually calls MCP server. It fires a tools list operation against the server, and then giving me the tools description, right? I'm getting the tools description, all the tools that are configured in that MCP server. The fourth one is the list agents, right? Right now there was only one agent, workspace agent, right? When I do a list registry.list agents, I get a list of agents, and for each agent I am printing the name, the display name, the description of the agent, the skills it has, right? So it can create a presentation. So this seems to me like a built-in agent that the platform has. I need to explore how it works, but it looks like can do a create presentation. 4B is where I can filter. I can list agents with the agent name, and it will give me the details of that agent. Number 5 is if there is any A2A agent, right, then I can do a list agents, so build a callable A2 agent. So the same registry.list agents.get agents, right? And then I can do the remote agent equal to registry.get remote A2A agent resource. Agent resource will come from the name, right? This, if it's an A2A record, right, it will give me the type, name, description, where the A2A agent is running, right? Remote A2A agent is running, and what the skills are, right? This is this particular registry operation will help me to implement that inter-agent interaction using A2A, right? And the sixth is the list endpoints, which I don't have any endpoints right now, right? So this is how agent registry works so far. This is my exploration. So what we have seen is the agent registry package in ADK. We looked at the 6 operations it gives, right? And then we also looked at agent registry itself. Within agent registry, we saw how we have configured a external MCP server, right? And then how we were able to get the tools using ADK's agent registry package, right? That's all for this recording. I am going to make or explore more, and as I explore more, I shall share more. Thank you.